Hello, my British shams, as Antoine de Caunes used to say on the 90s British smutty TV show Eurotrash. But I'm not really talking to my British shams, am I? I'm really talking to mostly Americans, I imagine. Well, right now, actually, I'm speaking to nobody, and there is every possibility that nobody will come to this live stream whatsoever. But I thought it'd be nice because, regardless, you will find your questions answered when you watch this after the fact, which will be a thing that is possible. So I won't be fielding any more questions during the live stream because it's a bit unfair because we set up a deadline and whatnot, which I kind of sailed past. So initially we didn't get much uptake, but then I got loads of fucking uptake. Big credit to Caspi Ness, who asked many questions. Let me just check that I've got the right thing here. Where's all the... Oh no. Where's the rest? Load more comments. You have to load everything. I'm doing it on my slow ass tablet. Oh, who do we have in? Pop up, chat, talk to me. Who's here? Who is here? A live chat on. You. So it is you and I presently. So Casby Ness or Kazasby just jumped in and put in all of the fucking questions, which really kind of saved my bacon. For things were somewhat awkward for a while there. I'm just trying to load this up on my shitty old tablet here, and we can dive in. I will start with the YouTube ones. Oh, hello. Mark Barrett's commented on my post. I cannot see that, Mark, because I'd have to come out into a different window, which would cause problems. But that is fine. Right, so do we have everything now? Yeah, got everything. All right, so let's start with the YouTube questions then, shall we, darlings? First things first, I've got a long day of shooting tomorrow. I'm getting up at 6 and then we're in the studio until 6. So it's 12 hours tomorrow. It's a long ass day of shooting. We had one today that's quite good. I met Bill Mosley today. Which was cool. It's on I post on my Twitter and my Facebook fan page there, so you can go and see screen grabs from my work today, which has been rather good. So Michael Kingston, I'll throw you all. Are you glad you missed the heat wave in Cambridge? It got to 37 degrees on Thursday. That was fucking weird. Weird that the hottest ever temperature in Britain was recorded in the Cambridge Botanic Garden, which is just up the road from my house, which I used to take students to rather a lot. So there you go. Yeah, that was really weird. The temperature was the same here. The day of the Cambridge heatwave, we were at similar temperature. I think we got above 40 degrees here. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit. I think it's like 111, but we were at 40 degrees. And, you know, it was kind of similar, so I didn't really miss it, really. America, tell me everything interesting and weird you've come across. That's also Michael /Froewell. I had the Cheeto Lovers Meal. I've been to the States before. I came to the West Coast for a couple of weeks. 2012, I want to say. So like 7 years ago. Fuck, 7, Jesus. You know, so things went too much of a surprise for me. I find American money weird. The Cheeto Lovers Meal in KFC was absolutely grotesque. I mean, they allow different additives, don't they, here into their they allow different additives into their food. So there are just such violently coloured foods. Like the Cheeto sauce, which is like liquid Cheeto dust that was on the thing, where it looked like acrylic paint. I remember when I used to paint shoes, I painted some orange Prodigy shoes, and it was the same mixture. It had the same consistency and colour of that acrylic paint, which was really vile, just vile. So you know, that's a thing. Dan Lyle says, I'll throw in a question. What classic series would you like to see return to TV? My choice would be Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is an excellent choice. I'm going to go one further with that. There is a show that me and my brother and I were obsessed with. It only had one season, called Now and Again, which is kind of like the Bionic Man, and I think I referenced it before. And it only got one season. John Goodman was in the pilot. And he plays a kind of schlubby, middle-aged businessman guy with a wife and daughter who gets shoved in front of a train and dies. And then he wakes up in the body of a sexy young man played by forgotten his name, dude from Dark Skies, and he's not allowed to speak to his family and stuff, and he's handled from the CIA by Dennis Haysbert. And me and my bro really loved it for some way. I don't know why, particularly. But I would 100% back the Kickstarter return of Now and Again to our screens. It used to be on ITV at like 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. because they were just burning off this season. And I used to watch it and go and do my A-levels the next day, because for that is how long ago it was. Someone just commented on the stream, and I don't want it to be a situation whereby they're saying, Richard, we can't hear you, because that would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? The whole thing would be embarrassing. So that's just loading up here. Yeah, so I'll just filibuster for a moment whilst that's loading on my shitty old tablet. We've done as of yesterday, we've done 4 interviews, which included Tony Todd, which I'll get to because that's in the questions. But as of today, we're doing kind of anywhere between 5 and 8 interviews a day for about 9 days. And then we have a couple of days before we go home. So we had loads of prep, loads of meetings, loads of stuff like that. B-roll, we've been busy, but like now it's just smash all the way through. Nope, that's not going to load. Okay, so we'll go into the original. Q&A. Mark Jones asks, I don't suppose you bought your drone for more incredible aerial footage vids? Of course I bought my drone. The problem is, peek behind the curtain, it's finding a small thing to then film, which I've not seen any. The equivalent of the model village, it would appear that model village culture does not exist in LA. It might. I haven't found it. We're out in the kind of slightly obscure part of LA, so there's mainly just Target and Vons and stuff here. Michael Boyle asks, why are you in LA? You've probably know by now, but there's a video posted just before this one which explains all that, so go over butchers at that. Thomas Cater asks, who are your favourite YouTubers? This is one of the questions that should be really easy to ask, but like faced with it point blank, I find really hard, because I watch a fuck of a lot of YouTube. I really like, there's a guy I just found called Ryukar who plays, who does let's plays of Super Mario Maker, which I just find insanely therapeutic, which I'll just watch and watch and watch and watch. I'm going to load up my subscriptions and I can give you a better picture. Nothing loads on this fucking tablet. Red Letter Media, of course. I like Jim Sterling. I watch Jim Sterling. Retro Man Cave, I like. I follow quite a lot of drum and bass stuff. It's just like drum and bass tracks, various ones that come on. You can't really call them YouTubers though, I guess. Retro Man Cave, I think I just said I really like. Mr. Sunday Movies and the Sunday Planet, I really enjoyed them. There's a channel from a guy called Caleb called DSLR Video Shooter, and Caleb does really, really good. So it's DSLR Video Shooter. Caleb does really good videography and filmmaking kind of tutorials and kit reviews and things like that, and I've really enjoyed that channel. Another guy called Justin Odisho who does lots of Adobe Premiere type stuff. I've really enjoyed him. He's one of those annoying people who's like, really young and talented. Aren't they just the worst? Vote Saxon 07, of course, our friends. I do still subscribe to Red Letter Media. I found Red Letter Media increasingly difficult to watch because I just kind of feel like if I watch it and repeat something they've said, then people jump down your neck and tell you, like, you fucking copied them, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. Cinecom.net, I like. That's a good kind of filmmaking one by some guys from Belgium. It's Geordie from Cinecom.net. Re-Res, the Canadian gaming channel, very good. Like that. Dan Ibbotson of Slopes Game Room, I watch quite a lot of that. Larry Bundy. I'm just looking through here. All the things. Kim Justice, I like. Yeah, I hope that's a good cross section. I definitely 100% forgotten a bunch of stuff. I really like a channel called Oliver Harper's Retrospectives and Reviews. Not really. Digitizer 2000, which is Mr. Biffo's channel. Stuart Ashen, of course, love Stuart Ashen. And the Centre for Computing History, which you must all follow because that is an institution to which I give my patronage in certain ways. So I hope that helps. Stephen Arnold asks, when you get some free time, are you going to visit some famous film locations like Terminator, etc., or is it work? Hey, Chris Thompson. There you go. Yeah, I did see the Skywalker predictions. I quite believe in the time travel theory. I think it's going to happen. Have I visited any film locations, Stephen Arnold? Yes, we don't have a lot of time at the moment. We're running around, but we did go to the Galleria Mall from Terminator 2, and I've driven past loads of the Storm Train things, and we've been down to Hollywood, so that's where like a bunch of stuff was made, right? So the obvious shit. Yeah, but no, not so much. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd really love to go to the observatory from the first Terminator. Yeah, the something or other Galleria. Our American guy took us there. Our American guy, Mikey, the line producer. Poor T1000 gag. I don't know what you mean, Mark. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what that means. Audience of 2, welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, I've got to wait for these fucking questions to load again. Isn't this live stream a hoot? This fucking shitty tablet. Oh my god. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Just load, you fuck. There we go. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay, I'm going to load these comments up and I'm not going to leave this page. Did I just get some chat? Yes, you are. Wait. Yes, you are. It would appear so. I didn't expect to get much uptake on this, to be honest. I was just going to record it as a video, but I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a live thing for anyone that happens to turn up? And it's you two, so there you go. That is your private audience with me. I want to knock it on the head in about half hour, 45 minutes if I can, just because early start tomorrow. But, okay. So Kaz Asby went mental and sent me all the questions. Oh, dude, don't thank me, man. Thank you. Well, you didn't thank me. You said you appreciate the effort, which is the same as thanking me, and I appreciate that very much. So don't worry, I appreciate you being here. That's the thing. So I hope it's fun to just be in a room with me, effectively. Okay, we're going to go into Kaz Asby's questions. What are the next steps for pursuing your camera work career? What equipment are you planning on purchasing next? What sort of jobs are you aiming to expand the portfolio and then move into bigger projects? Wow. Last couple of weeks has been really big for me. I got asked to take the Rob England job 10 days before we flew because Gary, the producers Gary and Adam had lost their previous DP and they needed someone in a pinch, and we know each other kind of not particularly well. We spoke on the phone a few times, so I kind of met them at Gatwick Airport for the first time. So this, to me, I am credited as cinematographer. It's my first cinematographer credit. That's on IMDb. It's on the poster. So that is what that is. I've gone for, you might have seen my pictures on social media. I'm trying to use a kind of, I'm using the tungsten end of things in terms of colour. If you dig all that. So I wanted to go for kind of warm autumnal colours, which I think is really coming across in the project. So this is a really big deal for me. It's a step out of commercial filmmaking and into kind of creative filmmaking. It's still work, but I'm meeting actors and making a feature in Hollywood, which is a really big deal. So I think this has been a good step up. I'm currently using a Blackmagic cinema camera, which I have borrowed from the Centre for Computing History. I do a lot of stuff for them, and Jason, bless him, I just turned up and said, I need your cinema camera, I need it for 3 weeks, is that all right? And he just went, yes, because he's lovely. So I'm borrowing that. In terms of what I want to purchase, I want to get, I think my next, having used the Blackmagic Cinema, I want to get the Blackmagic Cinema Pocket. Because I think the move into cinema cameras is a wise one. I'm using DSLR at the moment, which is quite restrictive. It's not very good for long form. It's less good for creative in a lot of ways. And the Blackmagic system has an EF mount, so I can use my existing Canon lenses. So I have rather a lot of stuff. I want to get a Rode NTG2 mic and probably like a Zoom H5 or H6. That's an XLR in sound recording kind of solution. I really like a Canon C200. Ideally, but that's far off. It's like $5 or $6 grand, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. But that's the thing. Also, when I get back, one of my ambitions, when I broke my leg, one of my ambitions this year, before I broke my leg, one of my ambitions this year was to hire other camera operators and for me to be the boss of a larger job where I'm coordinating under the auspices of my company. I hire people in for something big. I freelance for my friend Scott in Cambridge, and he does that. He does big jobs where he's the boss and he hires us all in. And I wanted that for me this year. And I wanted people walking around in my like Richie Jackson t-shirts, doing a big job. And I just won a contract. I mean, it is going through, but I just won a contract in the last couple of days that I've been pitching for. So when I go back, my good friend Mahiba, who's a filmmaker down in Brighton, is going to be on site in my little business t-shirt, carrying out the first couple of days of work. I've hired a photographer as well, so we're all three of us going to be on site for a big event happening in Cambridge University. You know, I'm not rich, but that was my ambition. And even though I broke my leg, I was like, no, fuck it. I'm doing that regardless. So kind of a timely question. Two of my big ambitions have come off this year, which I'm insanely grateful for. So I'm cinematographer on a kind of creative thing, but then I am boss of a big project when I get back. You know, I'm not going to be loaded or anything like that, but I think that will put some money in the coffers to invest in equipment. And I think my business is scalable and I want to be able to do that. And of course, the more nice things I buy for work, I use for Valverde and for anything creative on top of that. So, and you have just followed with Kaz Asby asks. Thank you, Chris. So I appreciate that. What about the YouTube career? Any further improvements planned for the set and equipment? Yeah, I mean, my work, my freelance work facilitates Valverde, because Valverde survives because of all of you, really. The reason that Valverde exists is because you are here paying into it. I mean, you very much are the reason it exists. We make a bit off of ad revenue, and definitely it's most of you guys as well that throw tips in when we live stream. But, you know, it's Patreon that keeps that alive. So in terms of a physical sense, every time I get new equipment for Valverde, it goes into for work, it goes into Valverde, and vice versa, and makes that better and better. And can't really change the set because it's my front room. You know, we can dress it, because every time what happens is Duncan comes to my house, we build up the set and dress it, we work, and then we have to get it done before Ivan comes home, because he lives there too and he just wants to come back and relax after work. And if we've taken over the fucking house, it's no good. That sucks for him. So yeah, you know, the more stuff we get, I've gone down to one camera at the moment because it saves time. It's really time heavy to cut 3 cameras, and no one seems to be bothered that we're just using one. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd have a camera operator usually. Sometimes if someone is guesting like Brad, I can operate. If there's guests, I can operate the camera when I'm on camera. And when I'm on camera, I can instruct someone how to do that. Or if it's Brad's the fucking director, you know, so he can just do that. So Kaz Asby asks, Robocop versus Conan the Barbarian, which movie has the best score? Basil Poledouris scores. It's Robocop. You know it's Robocop. Like such about Ad Astra, has it been on your radar? Yes, very much so. I like that kind of 70s style, big budget sci-fi stuff. I really liked Interstellar. I like things like Moon. Yeah, Ad Astra looks great. From what little I know of it, because I'm trying to go unspoiled. Could be rubbish, but they have my money. What did you think about the Picard trailer? I saw the Picard trailer just before I left. I think it looks awful. It looks completely awful. I mean, it just absolutely... I mean, wasn't Picard supposed to be kind of contemplative and diplomatic? And now it's backflips and shit. I mean, I just don't... It does. It reeks of Kurtzman, Chris. It very much does. And that's not good. That is not good, and I'm most displeased. Right. Have you and Duncan ever considered developing YouTube characters / personae for entertainment value, like how the Red Lit Media crew have their real selves but have exaggerated versions too, so they can get away from more bizarre antics or jokes? Something that I used to hear a lot about. I can't speak for Duncan, but well, no, I think it's the same for Duncan. But like people used to say to me on comments and stuff like, "I like that you're honest." And you know, you might not believe that, but I do my best to just be me and say what I actually think, and try not to be too kind of influenced by the outside world. I like to say what I think where I can. It's increasingly difficult because I just don't think. I mean, I don't talk. We've agreed. Duncan and I have very different politics, and we've decided not to talk about them with Valverde because it's just not worth it. You attract cunts as soon as you dare to have an opinion about anything of that nature. But the reason we don't really create personas is because we prefer the idea that we're just us. And I mean, as soon as you turn on a camera, anyone has a persona. I mean, I suppose this to a degree is a persona because I turn on a camera, you know, but no, not really. What we do is just create completely separate characters. So like Caleb from Valverde Facts, which is I can't even surgically patterned that after, what you call it, I can't even remember the name of the channel, but it's deliberately patterned after that fucking channel on YouTube. And I just thought it was funny to create a sort of Geordie hipster twat for that. Stuff like that. If we do characters, it's like all the way out there. It's not like just versions of us, I don't think. It's just all the way out there. I'm going to skip past some of your questions because I feel like other people that have tuned in are going to feel it's all that, and I'm going to come back and do them all. But I'm just going to do everyone else's first. I don't want everyone to sort of feel like they have to listen to, because you did a lot, and I will answer all of them. Andrew Fisher, digital or physical? Difficult question, that, Andrew, isn't it? Because I love the physical objects, but one thing I've come up against recently is that I'm 35. I don't have any savings. I'm not getting any inheritance, and I don't have a mortgage. And my house is full of stuff. I started selling off my comics recently, which was absolutely heartbreaking. It's been great financially. It did really well for me when I had a broken leg, but it absolutely broke my heart. DVDs. I had, I think, somewhere like 800 or 900 DVDs and Blu-rays, and I sold half of them to create space. And now I'm thinking about getting rid of the rest, because physicals are well and good, but if I don't have any permanence in my living situation, so I can't possibly keep them. My view on that is that if in 10 years' time I'm a success, I can buy all this stuff back. If in 10 years' time I'm poor, DVDs and comics are the least of my problems. I think that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Ben Haslam, if finances and viewership were no object, what would your ideal project for Valverde be? If we had unlimited money, I would love to do sort of to camera pieces about films that I love. I filmed this thing last October, which is getting on for a year old, which I have to finish, which is kind of like Screen Wipe. It's loads of links, and it's about the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead, but we filmed it in a graveyard near my house, and we've recreated loads of shots of Night of the Living Dead. I've done it in 4:3, put film grain on it. I used the fonts to recreate the intro, and instead of the car, it's me, like really laboriously restaged things. And I love doing stuff like that. So remember like the Die Hard video where I went to all that effort? Like I got a what's called an anamorph fake lens to create the fake anamorphic look. I went to a car park in Cambridge in December, put a vest on, I copied the makeup, got the fairground that just happened to be in the park opposite the Queen Mary car park in Cambridge. So it got those kind of anamorphic bokehs, and then put the lens flare on it, because I love doing those to camera pieces and then like really slavishly recreating the film in question to make it look like the same film stock. I know I was trying to get the anamorphic look on that, and then on the Night We Did, when I was trying to get that kind of black and white kind of filmic look. I would do those constantly. I would get guests on. I would do Risky Quizness every week. I would have like a proper studio space, and we would do it in Brogue like properly. I can't speak for Duncan, so Duncan would do whatever the fuck Duncan wanted to do all the time. It'd be great. That'd be fucking magic, wouldn't it? Ben says, how's the weather in the City of Angels? And have you managed to fit any sightseeing yet? It's hot. I'm burnt. It's fucking hot. We've done a bit of sightseeing. Yeah, I've been around Hollywood, been around Burbank. We're working in Burbank, actually. We've got a studio in Burbank. Yeah, we've done a bit of darting around. I mean, we've been really busy, but yeah, and I think we're supposed to, like, when we're done, because we've got a fucking rough schedule coming up, we're going to go for a bike ride around Hollywood, which I'm really excited about because I like bike rides. Maiko asked about thoughts on Picard, which I've just done. So, Maiko, I refer you back to my previous answer. Any upcoming film you plan to review on? That's from HRJ. HRJ, I constantly want to do new films, but Duncan's doesn't really like to review new stuff because it's not brilliant for his career, which I completely understand. So nothing planned. What I keep meaning to do is, if I see something on my own, is that I will just go and do it on my own, into a mic, maybe just do a solo review like that, separate to It Ain't Broke, just because I'd like to get my thoughts out on newer stuff. Nothing in particular. Maybe I could do Ad Astra, for example, or Joker, or fucking Terminator, fucking shitty bollocks, whatever it's called. Ian McGar, if you could have any guest to join you, yes, Chris, Ivan would do new reviews, and we did Avengers together. So yeah, no, Ivan would, and we've talked about it. So yeah, I'd pop Ivan stuff, possibly. If you could have any guests to join you at It Ain't Broke or After Hours, who would they be, and what would you talk about? Ian McGar. That's a very good question, Ian McGar. Jesus. Funny people. I hate these questions. It's a really good question, but I'm rubbish at answering them, and that's why I hate them. I don't hate you for asking it. I hate me for not being able to. Would you think of fruit? You know, that sucks. Who would I have on? Comedians. I definitely have comedians on. I can't think of any right now. I'll come back to that. Do you know what I mean? It's terrible. Jesus. I definitely have Alan Moore. Alan Moore would be great. Stuart Lee. That'd be the most terrifying night ever. Oh, Alan Buxton and Joe Cornish are like my favourite. They're so influential with me, and I just think they're godlike to me. So I'd have Adam and or Joe on in a heartbeat, and just be sort of terrified and sit there sort of quaking as they just were themselves. So I hope that's decent enough. Sorry. Omar Zambon. Hi Richard, I hope you're well. What was the plane journey like, and have you enjoyed LA so far apart from work, of course? Alan Partridge, Mark Barrett says. Yes, Alan Partridge would be Alan Partridge, David Brent, Alan Partridge every time. How was the plane journey, enjoying LA? I'm enjoying LA, Omar, but I'm also enjoying work because it's a very exciting job. And I've got to do loads of cool shit I probably never expected I'd be able to do in my life. And it's all been a big surprise. And I've spent, a big part of my year. The first 6 months of my year was pretty shit, and it's had a big uptick. So I'm enjoying it very much. And the work, thank you. Plane journeys bore the shit out of me because I am I have insomnia. Like I just don't sleep at the best of times, and I do not sleep on public transport of any form. Just like I can't. So when a plane journey happens, I'll be awake for all of it, and I'll normally end up watching 6 movies. What I did do, Omar, was watch the Wachowski Speed Racer film, or half of it, because I started watching it at the end, and it was really good. I liked how mental it was as kind of a live action cartoon with a comedy chimp in it, which I need to see if it's on Netflix, so I want to watch the rest. I also watched The Kid Who Would Be King, which is a new Joe Cornish film, which I really, really liked, and I would recommend to anyone. I watched the edited version of Dodgeball. I don't know what I was thinking. Andre Joseph, what's a cinematic universe you would like to see that Hollywood has not done yet? 2000 AD. Sorry, it's boring. 2000 AD. I met Andre. He was over in England earlier in the year, and we met up and had a beer, and him and his dad. And it's a bastard because I'm in his country, but your country's so vast. You're too far away. New York. I'd love to come and say hi in New York one day. If I ever come to New York, you'll be first to know about it. Mark Jones, can you name some films you love from genres you dislike, e.g. fantasy, musical, etc.? Yeah, I'll tell you the big one for me, because I generally, you've nailed that, because you know that I don't like fantasy or musicals, which is good work. It's got to be Singing in the Rain, because I can't stand musicals, and that particular kind of classical Hollywood musical I particularly dislike, but I just love Singing in the Rain. I think it's a really, if you wanted to cut film in half and count the rings, Singing in the Rain is really important because it's this reflective look at the coming of sound and how vastly important that was to film. And I've been thinking about this a lot recently, so I want to talk about early cinema more on our channel. And Singing in the Rain is this kind of somewhat whimsical but actually quite brutal look at what the technology. It's about this technological sea change that just destroyed people's careers overnight, and that's one of the big themes in the film, is that the big kind of female star sounds like an idiot and it ruins her career, and it's a great look at that changeover. It's really quite an appreciative look at the changeover from silent to sound. And there are other things. There are things like the introduction of colour and stuff, and so many different things you could discuss in films. And Singing in the Rain is one of the first great kind of reflective Hollywood films. So there you go, Singing in the Rain. Mark Jones is also still waiting on that amazing drone footage of LA landmarks. Don't you wait. If I can find something, oh my god, because no holiday is complete. Any guests lined up for commentaries? Not at the moment. I would like to. It's just a bit difficult because you have to get someone over and then have them in. Whoever commits to a commentary is locked in for 2 hours. And what will happen is Duncan and I stay at each other's houses and do sometimes 3 in a day or 2 in a day. So it ain't that easy. And, nobody knows who we are either. I'd like to have Toby. I'd like to have Duncan. It's just like people such as Toby and Duncan they both have kids, they both have jobs. It's difficult to get them. And then it's like, well, is a commentary the best use of their time? Which really sucks. Really sucks. I hate that. But is it the best use of their time? Going back to the question earlier from Ben about infinite money. Yeah, shit, I would fucking just pay for someone to come over for a week and do commentaries all the time. So nothing at the moment. That would be nice. Phil Robinson. I would like to add to calls from amazing drone footage from the City of Angels. Fair dues, mate, yeah. Since you've met the legend that is Tony Todd, what are your thoughts on the original Candyman and the potential spiritual sequel, apparently in pre-production, coming next year? I think Candyman would be a good candidate for an 18 break episode. It's a fascinating piece of work. I have not... yeah, we could get Ellie on. Ellie's brain would explode if we did. If she came on. She only lives she lives too far away. She lives just down the road. And Ellie and Angelo both do things behind the scenes, and they are, I just had a fucking email. They aren't on camera ever, really, and I think they deserve it because they are really important in keeping things going over. Ellie makes a point of saying I am propaganda minister and stuff and I want people to know that it's her, because people kind of say to me, you put this on social media, and I have to go, no I didn't. Ellie fucking runs with that and does all of it. And Angelo as well. Angelo just came in and went, I'm going to do your thumbnails, and I was just like, sweet, because I put an offer out and he was just kind of like, I've got these ideas, I'm doing this. And he's fucking amazing as well. And he sent me a Die Hard book when I was sick, which is, bless him, and he pays for Patreon, he's probably watching this. I fucking love you, Angelo and Ellie. Anyway, Candyman. The thing is, here's the thing. Tony Todd was the most exciting thing I've done on this project so far. I mean, this is for you, Patreon, because it's about Robert Englund and going to Robert Englund's house and spending time with Freddy Krueger. And he bought us lunch afterwards, told us all these stories. It's fucking awesome. We went down to Laguna Beach, I think it's called. It's like this nice community where he lives. Beautiful, amazing, lovely guy. But, I've got more at stake with Tony Todd. And not only was Tony Todd lovely, but he stood around and chatted afterwards. And I haven't seen Candyman in a really long time. I liked it when I was younger, and I want to watch it again. Because I think Jordan Peele's doing the new Candyman, and I really liked Key and Peele, and I like Get Out. I haven't watched Us yet, so I need to watch Candyman again, and I think it would be good at 18 break. Mainly, I wanted to I spoke to Tony Todd about Patricia Tallman, the Savini Night of the Living Dead remake, and Star Trek. The things I wanted to talk to him about, and he talked about Star Trek a bit when we were on, and I thought, fuck it, when I hit the camera off, I was like, look, I don't want to freak you out, but I'm a big Star Trek fan. And The Visitor, the DS9 episode you're in, he's in a few episodes, he was Kern, but he was like, oh, Jake Sisko. I was like, The Visitor is like one of my favourite episodes of Star Trek ever. And he said, it's mine too, I was raised by my auntie and I dedicate it to her. And we stood and chatted about Star Trek for a bit, and I was just fucking grinning the whole time. It's amazing. I was so excited about meeting Tony Todd. It was so fucking cool. Like, we met Corey Taylor from Slipknot, right? Massive rock star. We were in his trailer at a festival. He's a fucking lovely dude, but I don't listen to Slipknot. I couldn't tell you one of their songs. I know who they are. I saw him on like QI that one time. Fucking lovely guy. I got him to record a message from one of my friends, my friend Kath, and she just shit the bed when she got it and stuff. That was all cool. But Tony Todd, that was so fucking cool meeting Tony Todd, man. So Phil, you've given me a tangent there. Mark Jamie. Potential non-piss take / clickbait lists, personal photos, listening stuff you share with us. I'm not mad about doing lists unironically, Mark. Not so much. I mean, I definitely cover. I think our big venue for talking about stuff is After Hours, because the point in After Hours is you just do whatever the fuck you want. So I think I said on Twitter, I want to do German Expressionist film. I want to talk about documentary. I mean, it's not. I'm working on a documentary right now, but that's not a thing that I'm suddenly interested in. One of my favourite topics when I was studying film was documentary, and I don't get to talk a lot about the cinema verite or direct cinema or early film in particular. Like, the origins of film is really interesting, and really, film was, all the original films are ones by Edison and Méliès and Lumiere and stuff. Well, not the Lumiere so much, but definitely Méliès and Edison. They were biological kind of records, so it was all documentary. And Méliès in particular, it was kind of footage of trains coming to stations and stuff like that. And a lot of the Méliès stuff was lost. I mean, it's a really, really interesting topic. So I wouldn't do it as a list, but I would just do that. And the great thing is we get people saying, like, you should talk about stuff that isn't superheroes and isn't action films. It's like, I really want to, but every time I do it, nobody watches it, or comparatively no one watches it. However, I'm sort of going on the other way on that, and that I really want to aggressively do niche stuff. Just be like, yeah, fuck it, why not? I mean, you guys on Patreon are the ones that keep this going. It's not really YouTube ad rev anyway, so I'm sort of the opinion, like, yeah, shit, I'll do a bunch of obscure stuff. So not really lists, but kind of obtuse, impenetrable videos. And Toby's coming back. I wanted to do some maybe talk about Caligari or with Tony. I've come down. I've got like a cold. It's like 40 degrees, but this morning I woke up feeling like shit. And I think I've got a cold coming on, which is just absurd. So I'm gonna have to fucking get through the rest of the shit with a cold. What are your thoughts on Alexander Payne as the director? Sideways and About Schmidt are excellent. Yeah, I really like Sideways and About Schmidt. He had a bit of a backlash in his career, didn't he? And I particularly enjoyed Sideways. I can't remember what he did most recently, but people did not like it. I mean, I've only really seen Sideways and About Schmidt, as far as I know, and I really like both of them. Not a lot more to say, really. I remember when Sideways came out, everyone loved it, and then that had the kind of really quick turnaround, critical reappraisal, where people sort of started giving it a kick in, which I always thought was really unfair. So yeah, I don't know. What was it he did recently? I do not have the means to look it up because both of my devices are engaged. How useless I am without computers. David Blackfish-Annie, hello mate. Good to hear from you. Are you a fan of Number 9? Inside Number 9, what's your favourite episode, and what would be your pitch for an episode setting? I've got a doozy. Well, you're going to have to comment and tell me what your doozy is there, mate, so we can find out. I'm really bad at knowing the names of these. I really, really like Number 9. I think it's fantastic. My favourite one, which I don't know the name of, was the one of Dennis Lawson, where it's the silent comedy one, where they have to sort of break into the guy's house, and there's no dialogue. I think there's dialogue at the end, where what's his name comes in from Face Checker, whose name I do know, but I've forgotten. And also Four Lions and stuff. I really, really like that episode. I think it's a great demonstration of those guys have such a strong grasp on so many different types of comedy, and particularly the theatrical tradition. And that silent episode, which a lot of people don't like, I believe, is really, really good. I think it's such a clever setup, and I think the way it's set in a literal kind of glass house that allows you to cover what's happening in so many exciting and fun ways. And there's loads of wrinkles in it. I thought it was really clever. Don't know the name of it. If I was going to do a setting for Number 9, I don't know. So the guys that I'm working with, Gary and Adam, their production company called Dead Mouse Productions, and they've got a thing on Amazon Prime called Dark Ditties, which is kind of inside Number 9-ish. So maybe go check that out. In terms of a setting, I mean, at the moment, I'm in this, I'm in a hotel in LA. It's a shithole. It's a shithole. What'd you do? It's a shithole. Maybe you could set it here. I'm sort of on the ground floor. There's a big glass window there. And just constantly think I'm about to be murdered by gangbangers, like all the time. Oh well, there you go. Not really. I'm not going to be murdered by gangbangers. So we're going back to Kaz Asby's questions, which might cover a lot of ground for you guys if you're interested in some of the stuff he's asked. So here we go. How is the leg doing? Any tips on what to do and what not to do when recovering? The leg's doing really well, actually. This hotel has a pool, and I just call it a rat hole, but everywhere has a fucking pool in LA, right? That's not it's not fancy here at all. Has a pool. I've been swimming, which has really helped. It's feeling really good. I ran a little. I've not been officially told I'm allowed to run yet, but I ran a little and it was fine. It didn't hurt anything. I would say the tip is just do everything you are told. Like, you get physio and stuff, and if you don't do the physio, the motherfucker's never going to work properly again. So as soon as the guy said to me, get off, go run around in it, I fucking did exactly what he said. And all the way up, I've got, hold on, it's going to look kind of vaguely kinky. Now, since I've been away, I haven't been doing my physio, but things are really looking up, and I've been swimming, and I've been carrying heavy equipment around, running around. So this is called a resistance band, which is like an enormous rubber band. So I attach that to the chair and stretch my leg out to get the muscles activated again. This is the blue one. This is this is the semi-boss. The grey one is the boss. And hopefully when I get back to England and I go back, they're going to give me the grey one. Just do exactly what you're fucking told, man. Do what you're told, get your exercise, you're going to be fine. I am getting fat. I haven't been able to do proper cardio for ages. I've been back on my bike, done some cycling, which is good, but I haven't been given the nod to go running yet, and I've been over here eating shit. Like, every night I go out with the boys when we're wrapped, and we go out and eat fucking garbage, and I'm like grossly fat, and I weighed myself before I left. Also, though, having a fucking 14-inch titanium implant does add a couple of pounds. You are allowed to say that. So there you go. We just did Ad Astra, yes. Oh, how did I miss? What's your favourite Nicholas Winding Refn film? Well, there's the Pusher films, of course, but I did really like Drive. Really like Drive, but then some of the more recent ones not so much. So it'd be boring and say Pusher or Drive. I think that's the one. Yeah, Picard trailer. Well, I missed some of these. How did I do that? Worst M. Night Shyamalan movie, funniest, best. Well, okay, fine. The worst one is The Village. It's such an insulting twist. The funniest is The Happening. Surely it's just a carnival of ridiculousness. And Duncan, I've made him do it before. Well, no, he's done it off his own, but I've made him shit. He's done it off his own back. But Duncan does this fucking brilliant impression of The Happening. He does Mark Wahlberg going, "No, ma'am, or not." And it's just my favourite thing. Absolutely love it. Best one. Well, I mean, really, it's like The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable, isn't it? Before the whole Emperor's New Clothes thing became apparent with him. I mean, I really liked Unbreakable when it came out. I haven't seen Glass, is it? And Split, I haven't seen. And from what I understand of Glass, it's probably a fucking good thing. Which is, who would have thought we'd finally get the sequel when it was garbage? So that fucking sucks. Oh, hold on a sec. I got a WhatsApp. Yeah. Sorry, that's Ivan actually, because I need Ivan to do. Bless him. I needed to print some my camera log sheets for this project. I needed to print, and I lost my copies somehow on the transition over, and so I had to call up Ivan and use him like a sort of meat puppet to log into my computer and Google Drive my fucking log sheets so I could print them out here at some FedEx place. Which film is going to do better at the box office, Dark Fate or Rambo 5? Well, Rambo 5 is cheaper, right? So it depends what you mean. Because I mean, like, proportionally in terms of profit, I think Rambo's got more of a chance. Terminator Dark Fate, I don't know. It's so hard to formulate an opinion. I'm just so fucking numb to the whole thing, you know what I mean? I don't know. I straight up just do not know. And in a similarly kind of hand-wavy answer, will you be checking out the Dark Crystal TV show at the end of next month? I have never seen the Dark Crystal. Ever. I don't know what to tell you. Just never have. Maybe it's great. I don't know. Like, I just haven't watched it, so I've no cause to watch the Netflix series since I have no motivation. Will we be seeing Kevin the Work Experience Predator again anytime soon? Did he pass his NVQ in hunting yet? What's the minimum wages for a Predator just starting out? Do they have to pay their own plasma cannon, or does the workplace supply them? I think it's a minimum wage situation. They are supplied with plasma cannon. I think there's probably a deposit situation in case they damage said plasma cannon. Yeah, I keep meaning to bring back Kevin, and there's been loads of times when I've had a sudden lull in work and it's like, shit, I could just jump on and do a bit more Kevin, can I? Just jump in there and do a bit more Kevin. Probably would do it as a live stream, I suppose, because that's what we do now, isn't it? We do live streams on the old channel. So yeah, no, Kevin will come back. I love the strange ubiquity of Kevin on this channel. It's something that we introduced quite early on. I think we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary soon, aren't we? It will be, because I went to Brighton Pride after we launched. So that'd be this week, I think. Missing Pride this year, which I'm really sad about, because all my friends are going to be having fun and I'm going to be here. I know, doing an awesome thing, but I'm quite bummed out by that. Kevin will return. What, in your opinion, is the single best special effect in movie history? Well, I'm glad you asked. I don't even have to think about this. Regardless of how you feel it may slow down the plot and how it doesn't have a space in the final movie, which is an opinion a lot of people hold, the level and amount of trickery in the chip scene, the deleted and then reinstated chip scene in Terminator 2 is just incredible. I mean, I think everything required to mount that, including the fact that one of your principal characters has pick a special effect, T2 Sarah. Here we go. Thank you. Yeah, Mark, you got it. It requires one of your principal actors to have a twin sister. It's incredible. And I think part of the magic of that is the fact that you kind of, when you watch it, you don't really think about it, because that all exists to facilitate the fact that there is an impossible amount of depth in the Terminator's head when the camera comes around. That's all that's for. All that exists for is, and because now you could just put a green kind of patch and do that with computers, and lots of talented VFX people would do that. But in order to facilitate that effect, they had to make a room with a hole in the wall and then rebuild the entire room on the other side in mirror with doubles for the actors. An animatronic, well, not even animatronic, but a puppet of your main character. It's incredible. I just think the sheer artistry in that, and then they fucking cut it out. It's unreal. Like, it's one of the most amazing, magical, wonderful pieces of realised special effects I've ever seen, and I ever will see. I expect, because there's no need for it anymore. That kind of stuff's gone. It's absolutely incredible. And another one, kind of a gore effect, is the Captain Rhodes thing, of course. So Tom Savini and Greg Nicotero and team on Day of the Dead, when they pull him in half, because it's incredible. In fact, quite a lot of those, like when Rickles' kind of face gets torn off and his eyeball is visible. I mean, that's amazing. And there's the old Savini gag with the machete with the bit cut out when they cut Miguel's arm off. I mean, that film is a tour de force. A lot of that stuff doesn't quite sail in Dawn of the Dead because of the kind of, everything's so rushed, and there's sort of kind of corny colour palette and stuff. You have just thrown in Emil from RoboCop, of course. These guys made RoboDoc, and I might be doing a day of second unit on RoboDoc, which means I get a credit in RoboDoc, which I'm really excited about. Do you think E.T. Oh no, hold on. Are there any film soundtrack tunes that you've purchased, downloaded, then added to a playlist for enjoying later? Name a couple that stood out for you and it led to you buying the scores. I don't really buy film scores. I mean, this is in no way a venue for me to have a dig, but that was very much Ollie's thing. Ollie owns soundtrack after soundtrack in various formats. I mean, I bought the Daft Punk soundtrack to Tron because I like Daft Punk. The only other main one I can think of is the South Park soundtrack, which I can karaoke the entire South Park soundtrack, I think, pretty confidently, because I bought that CD as soon as the movie came out in 1999. I think I've still got the CD, but I long since ripped it all to a hard drive years ago. What I do is I occasionally look up when I'm working, if I'm working on a project that doesn't have any sound, because obviously when the frustrating thing about editing with sound is you have to listen to sound, so you can't listen to music. But when I'm doing kind of promos that don't have any soundtrack of their own, and I quite often just have to cut reels for certain clients, you can listen to music. And so things like the RoboCop theme, which is really dumb, but like for me, because I just John Carpenter scores I'll put on a lot, like main themes, things like Precinct 13. Escape from New York, Big Trouble. Ivan's got a lovely red Precinct 13 vinyl. It's beautiful. No, was it red as well? I've got a red Judge Dredd's 2012 soundtrack that my brother got me for Christmas, just gone, that me and Ivan have put on when we've had a few drinks. I can't remember if his Precinct 13 vinyl was red, but Carpenter scores, man. Love that shit. Beautiful. Do you think E.T. will get a sequel after Spielberg passes away? What would the plot be? Picture idea for the movie in 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, I'm going to do it in 30 seconds. I've got a timer on here. So here's my plot to E.T. E.T. comes back to find Elliot working in a home base. And Elliot is working in a home base because he thought that would be a good way to build a spaceship from all the old, wheelbarrows and glue and that lying around. And E.T. knows it's not going to work. And Elliot's just kind of sad and old. And E.T. goes to him, Elliot, that's don't build a spaceship. That you're sad. Don't be divorced. And then he just cheers him up, and they go for a drink. And E.T. tells him about his kids, and then they're all mates at the end. 30 seconds, bang on, done. Why don't characters ever try to EMP or electrocute a Terminator to disable it? Why do they always seem to aim at physical damages going through electronics and data? I think that's just a thing that when those original films came out, it just wasn't a thing that people thought of. I remember in the novel T2 Infiltrator by I can't remember who wrote that, someone sterling. They have a Terminator's head, and to stop it from kind of dialing out with its internal modem, they put it in a Faraday cage. I imagine Terminators are sufficiently advanced that one wouldn't need to you couldn't EMP it effectively, I would imagine. I remember a kid at school saying that if he saw a Terminator, just throw a bucket of water on it, which You think in a nuclear fallout situation, they'd have thought of that. When it comes to different types of video you produce at Valverde, what's the relative difficulty of each? Which sub-series takes the longest time to film and edit? Which takes the least time? Why is this? Well, commentaries, we just have to make a thumbnail. Duncan puts the beginning and end on, and away you go in a timeline. Duncan edits those. He uses like iMovie or something for those. The after hours videos, the idea with those is that we get the benefit of being on screen. You have a loose topic and you just go. So really with after hours, you just fade in, fade out, and it's supposed to be very casual. We've got a drink and whatever. The only time that kind of went tits up is so I did a video about the art of Judge Dredd and realised, well, we can't just talk about the shit and not show it. It's a topic that's very dear to me, so I went and did that. The ones that are probably the most difficult are It Ain't Broke. I've only really done one risky quizness. But I will do more. I've been writing one for ages. I've got a little notepad on my phone. I've just been writing fucking... Whenever I think of something stupid, I put it in there. That was quite tricky to edit, but I think that would get easier now I've had the learning curve. It Ain't Broke takes the longest time, so I have to go and find clips and everything, and I have to colour correct. And when... I hope, again, like I do hope to be back on 3 cameras eventually, but when it's on 3 cameras, it's very time consuming. And I think it's slicker, and I think it adds more production value, but the fact is, at the end of the day, I can't be sat there for 5 hours doing 4 episodes on the trot. Well, it's not even that. I mean, if I did 4 episodes on the trot, it takes up hours and hours and hours, and I've got to put food on the table, ultimately. Which is why we're down to 1 camera at the moment, but it's definitely those, easily. And that has we have to dress the set, we have to arrange a time, we have to go out and get lunch. We now live stream those shoots as well. There's a question of props and stuff like that. So definitely those. And like I said, I've got my Night of Living Dead 1990 kind of video essay thing that involved going out to the graveyard up in central Cambridge, the Victorian graveyard, and physically filming stuff. And I'd written a script and all sorts. And actually, that being said, the top 10 Expendables thing was really laborious to make. However, by making that first video, I've created effectively a template I can work from in terms of its graphics and its style and its music and how it looks and how it functions. But that was very... So I set myself a challenge that as soon as I got the audio from Duncan, I was going to edit that in 1 day, and I did it in kind of like an 8 or 9 hour stint. And I was copying the source material made by, I can't fucking remember the name of that channel. You know what I'm talking about, Geordie Twats. So I sat and I had to take kind of sound-alike music and stuff, but keep it, and then trying to... The other thing as well is keeping things off of the fucking copyright algorithm, which is a pain in the dick. It is, if the fate of the universe depended on you solving the mystery of what happened to the top half of FBI Special Agent Key's body, what would your solution be? Where did it go? My comedy solution to that was that he grabbed onto one of those bars and he's still alive. He lived, he Darth Mauled it. So he was able to sort of like get away like Jungle Jim because the Predator just didn't think he was a viable threat. So I'm up for him coming back. I kind of like, they should have, instead of Lawrence Fishburne, it should have been him with like, Johnny Five style tank tracks, or like Dexter Fletcher in Doom. Everyone's forgotten Dexter Fletcher was in Doom. The director of Rocket Man and partially Bohemian Rhapsody and Sunshine Over Leith was in Doom. He's in Doom, in the film Doom, the rubbish film Doom, with our Lord and Saviour Carl Urban and Rock the Dwayne Johnson and what's her name? The posh one off of James Bond and that. Rosamund Pike. Dexter Fletcher, the director of such smash hits as Elton John's The Rocket Man. Anyway. Who would win an arm wrestling match between you and Duncan? Probably Duncan. I'm in really bad shape right now and he still goes to the gym, so I'm going to say Duncan. From a practical perspective, who would you like to meet at a convention? Are there some targets still out there you'd like to go and ask for something of? I don't know, conventions are funny because you don't really get access to someone. I mean, something I've never met Robert England at a convention. I never met him until last week. But something we've consistently heard from the people interviewing is that he will talk at great length to anyone, and he's supposed to be just the nicest guy. My experience of him last week was, he's a fucking talker and he's a lovely dude. I met George Romero at a convention and he signed my trainers, my Dawn of the Dead trainers, which was amazing. I met John Wagner a couple of times at conventions and stood and chatted with him, and that is the only time I've ever really been truly starstruck was when I met John Wagner, creator of Judge Dredd and Carlos Esquire. But yeah, I don't know, meeting people at conventions, it's not really for me, I don't think. I mean, conventions, I find conventions mostly hard work, to be honest. They're quite fun. Like when we appeared, it was really fun. But like when you've got kind of backstage and stuff, hey, I'm not sure I'd want to meet Shatner, Chris. He's supposed to be a bit of a cunt, isn't it? So I'd hate to have my image of Shatner shattered. Will you be storming Area 51 in September? I will not. No, I don't want to be shot by angry American soldiers. After the superhero genre finally runs out of steam, what do you think the next big mainstream action hype train will be? Horror, martial arts, westerns? What about return to high fantasy? I have no idea. I'm a big believer in the kind of rubber band effect in certain things, and you mentioned high fantasy. The superhero genre is, I know what you're saying. You mean high fantasy in the kind of Tolkien-esque sense. It is a kind of high fantasy of a type. I wonder if whatever comes next then has to be really grounded because people are so sick of the fantasy. So I wonder if it's going to be kind of, that's what happened in the 1970s because the 60s was all about big, crazy, kind of expensive musicals and things like that. And they were all a bit fantastic and, talking animals and flying cars. And then it became, it all became fucking Rocky Balboa and Popeye Doyle and stuff like that. And then it took the kind of Spielberg and stuff to bring it back the other way. So I imagine whatever comes next would be very grounded. I mean, that's, yeah. What's your favourite handheld weapon from all of movie history? I really like the, I can't remember the proper name. This is why I get in trouble for not knowing the proper name. The fucking Klingon phaser. It's got a proper name. It's called like Noisy Cricket is good, Chris, yes. The Klingon phaser pistol thing is fucking wicked. I love it. Disruptor. Thank you, Chris. Oh, look, I was so excited by that. Thank you, Chris. Chris Thompson, the only person in the live chat. God love him. He's watching this all on his own. What a fucking hero. You deserve a promotion, Chris, to whatever we offer in Valverde. Klingon disruptor pistol. How badass is that? But also, Batleth, innit? Batleth is pretty wicked. Or Lawgiver. Judge Dredd's Lawgiver. But not Judge Dredd's Lawgiver, because it'll explode your hand. You need to have your own Lawgiver. Wow. Yeah, I think that's it. That, my pretties, I believe, is your lot. If I have missed anything, please comment below and I will record a dedicated video to you, telling you all about how much I love you, and I'm sorry that I forgot your question, and good times. So here in LA, it is 10:20. A few little messages come in. I find now when you get to 10 o'clock kind of time in LA, all the early risers start getting up. All the 6 a.m. people start getting up. So your Duncans and your Ivans start. But if I whimsically text Duncan or Ivan something in the day, my day, when it gets to 10 p.m. here, they get out of bed and start reading my shit. So all my mates that have jobs that involve waking up or whatever, they start texting me. So we're in that zone. So maybe Duncan will log into Patreon and see that I've recorded an hour of nonsense. Big ask, isn't it, an hour? Asking someone to watch a bald cunt in a hotel room go on for an hour. But there you go. This is your money. This is what you pay for. So yeah, maybe I might do something about the. So the film I'm working on is called Icon: The Robert Englund Story, and you might already know this. It's by Dead Mouse Films, and they've done a bunch of stuff. Find out social media, Facebook. I'm posting updates from, stills from the shoots. Director Gary is taking them out and sending them to me, and I'm sharing them on social. We've got a bunch of BTS stuff going on as well. The project's coming together quite nicely. We've got more crew coming out tomorrow, so I might just do a little dedicated video talking about that because it's quite exciting. It's my first feature. I'm out talking to actors and stuff. All being well, we're going to speak with Lance Henriksen and Edward Furlong next week. We're still hanging on to confirm a lot of stuff. It's like Tony Todd only came together 2 days before it happened. That wasn't on the schedule that was sent to me before we left the country. So God knows what else has changed. Mark Hamill used to live with Robert. Mark Hamill used to spend a lot of time at Robert's house. They were really good friends. We can't get hold of Mark. That would be fucking awesome. Because of the film Stay Hungry, there's been an attempt to speak to Jeff Bridges and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Jeff Bridges, his people says he's too busy. And it's like, yeah, International movie star Jeff Bridges, fair enough. Schwarzenegger's lot have not got back to us. International movie star on Schwarzenegger. Fair enough. Yeah, you know, that adds up. That makes sense. So I'll do some updates about that. I'll do a proper video, explain where we're at. Like I explained the first video I talked about LA. I said I didn't want to say too much in case it didn't happen, but we're in the middle of it now, so I'm more comfortable talking about what's what. So it's about an hour. That was. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad I got that done because I said I would. No, I'm a man of my word. So and this is my last night on my own. I'll get a roommate tomorrow, which I'm a little bit bummed about. But you know, I've enjoyed my privacy. I was going to make a really gross joke there, but I'm not going to. So yeah, thanks very much. Cheers for tuning in. God love you, you Patreons, and I'll be back with more. Anything I missed, anything else you want to know, put it down below and I will deal with that. Chris Thompson says, if I'm ever in Vancouver, let me know. Thank you, Chris. I certainly will. I've never been to Canada. I would love to go to Canada. Your country looks absolutely fucking beautiful. I'd love to visit. So yeah, let's make that a thing one day. I'm going to sign off. There might be an awkward bit here where I forget how that's done. Give me a sec.